I'm sure you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today, what exactly we are going to do? We want to learn how to write a complaint letter. But before we go to a particular letter and we start writing, let us have a couple of ideas what exactly a complaint is. Complaint, in fact, complaint can result actually due to any inconvenience uh, which you face at work or in an organization. Now let us see what are some of the situations where you can. There can be many situations, but some of them at least I'd like to write. For instance, you are bullied. This is one situation where you can file a complaint. Okay. There can be another situation. You are not bullied, but someone is being bullied. It can be another situation where you can file a complaint. Or you see a person, uh, you see someone being abused in any way. Abused can be in any way. If somebody uses wrong words for the person, then the person is being abused. If the person is, harassed, then the person is being abused. And there can be many other situations. Okay. If you work somewhere and you are underpaid, okay, you are underpaid. What exactly? That this is one of the situations where you can you can file a complaint. Okay, and there can be many more situations like this. Our today's situation is that you are. Let us write the situation in another color and then work on it. Okay, our situation is here. One of let me give the heading, situation or title, whatever you call it. One of the students in your college, maybe this college, maybe you join a professional school or you join a university, it's up to you uh, in which background you want to write it. One of the students in your college is being bullied. Okay. This is a situation. Write a letter to the dean of college to alleviate the problem. Now the situation is very clear, but there will be a question in your mind: what should I exactly write, and what are the things I should include in this letter? Okay. Now the first line of such letters, that's very important, and it will go something like that. Your first line, okay, your first line. It goes something like that. Dear sir, I would like to file a complaint, and then whatever the issue is, you go ahead and you work on it. Dear sir, I'd like to file a complaint, and of course you file a complaint against. So you always remember preposition against can be used for it. Okay, fine. This is your first sentence. But what about other paragraphs? How you will write it? And what are the things you need to include in your letter? Okay, things to be included. Okay, included. Okay. For instance, in the first paragraph, you would formally file a complaint, and you tell the exact situation with examples. Examples here means instances. Instances means when something really occurs or happens. Okay. You can also include places where the person is bullied, okay, or abused. Okay. Then afterwards, the second thing which is very important, that is the the effect of bullying on the person. Okay. That can be the second thing, okay. Or it can be effects, not a single effect. Okay. The effect of bullying on the person. Okay. Let me rewrite it. Okay, the effect of bullying on the person. Okay. We can erase it quickly. No, we shouldn't. I think it makes sense, or I can write it somewhere else. And what else you can add here after the effects? Uh, Point three or C point is what you think can be can be done to alleviate this problem. That's also very important. Okay. For how many of you this structure makes some sense? So does it make some sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Let's go back to our letter structure. Now, you know what exactly you're going to do. But one more thing, yes, you will how you will finalize your letter. Okay, you have started it with dear sir, and you will close your letter. Okay, after writing a couple of lines, its body, it will go something like that. Yours faithfully. Yours faithfully. So that's the end of your letter. Okay. But something which is important to learn at this stage, that is use of language. Now, what exactly use of language is, I'll give you a couple of examples. Okay. When you write, you can write in two ways. Okay. In personal letters, for example, personal letters or informal letters, you can use, and you do use, even emotive language, emotive language or emotive vocabulary. But here it would not be a very good idea to use emotive language. Okay. Let us write a couple of examples of emotive language. Okay. Emotive vocabulary. Vocabulary. For example, she was she was terribly terribly harassed or teased or bullied. Now, in this example, uh, this terribly, this terribly is something. This one is something terribly. That is that is emotive in the sense. It's emotive, emotive. Why? Because it deals with emotions of people. Now, in such letters where you make a complaint, you avoid emotive language. Okay. What exactly you can write if the person who is bullied is a female, but it's not always. It's just I think it's not a very good idea to think that a person who is teased or who is bullied, it's always a female and not a male. It can be anyone. Okay, it can be a male, it can be a female. Okay, it's totally up to you, or whatever the situation may be. Okay. Now, a non-emotive language, on the other hand, let us write with an other color. For example, take this indigo, and you write one example of non-emotive language. Non-emotive language, something goes like this. Non-emotive language. Non-emotive language. She was often harassed to the point that she broke down, into tears, maybe. So that can be a non-emotive language. Now you will say that the subject is crying, and teacher says it's non-emotive language. Non-emotive language is the language which does not arouse emotions in the readers but only gives facts. And emotive language, it arouses certain kind of feelings in the reader, and that is something you can figure out. And let us write one more example of emotive language. For example, a newspaper uses emotive language and reports the killing of a couple of people, like a person. Okay? Let's go back to yellow color. Emotive vocabulary. And what they say, two persons were brutally killed in a clash. In a clash. And what will be non-emotive language? Okay. Let's go back to indigo once again. Two persons were killed in a clash. So this is non-emotive language. Without arousing emotions, you you convey your information in a professional way. Now, maybe there is somebody among you who thinks that if something is emotional, why don't we communicate it in an emotional way? In fact, in professional settings, we are not mostly concerned with emotions. Yes, we are concerned with emotion, but when you report something, you need to be neutral. And for you can only hold your neutral behavior when you are not fully emotional. But because emotional people sometimes exaggerate. Exaggeration is that you add more details than truth, than are the facts, which distorts your emotions, distort facts. Therefore, it is not appreciable. Now we are going to write a letter. And what is the topic of your letter? One of the students in your college is being bullied. Write a letter to the dean of the college, dean of college, to alleviate the problem. Okay, and you will have again its three sections. What are the things to be done? Are what are the things being done? Okay, how the person is being bullied. Add some of the instances. Add evidence as well, and what are the effects of this problem, and how it can this problem, how we can address, or you think this problem can be addressed. Okay, Address is again a formal word. Use it in your letters. It's very good to use such words. Alleviate, to alleviate the problem, can be another option. So here you go. Take your time and write a good letter. And this time, we are going to hold an activity. Some of the students I have seen here that whenever they are given an assignment, they leave the classroom. But let me tell you, since every video is being recorded, your attendance in one way or the other is being marked. Okay, so please don't leave when you are given a task. It will only be against you. And if you don't do a thing, you just listen. It is not more than a story. It has nothing to do with your learning skills. You will only learn when you do an activity according to the instructions of your teacher. Okay, go ahead and write a good letter, and I'll show you the screen I have where I have given you hint.